Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. It's a bit of a funny one tonight. It is, who would you like to see back at Celtic? With today being the day that Victor Wanyama, we've been talking about him a lot recently. It's all tuned up. We've been talking about him a lot recently, and it's ironic that he does come back into Scottish football this week, which is kind of weird. So the question tonight is, who would you like to see back at Celtic and what capacity? Good evening to Big Des. How are you, mate? Hope all is good. Paul Baird, evening to you. Paul Maguire and Paul Murning. Evening to you, fellas. So tell me in the comments, who would you like to see back at Celtic Park? In any capacity, is there a special player from the past that you would like to see on the coaching staff? Is there a manager that you maybe want back? Is there a player that you would like to see back at Celtic that's currently still playing his game? One could think of Carl Starfelt. Celtic did go back for him last summer. They did make inquiries, but he was happy in Spain. And he's went, fucking no chance. I'm not coming back to Celtic. So with Victor Wanyama heading to Dunfermline, that's a favour. Neil Lennon must have nude pictures of Victor in uncompromising moves or something. The Lisbon Lions. And we're talking about modern day. I mean, we're talking about Wanyama getting back. He has signed for Dunfermline until the end of the season. Dunfermline are second, bottom of the table, and their next game is against Scott Brown's team away to Ayr United. Victor Wanyama obviously played for Celtic. I think it was around about 2012 that he left, and then he went down south, and then he went to America to play. He went to America after being at Spurs. So it's interesting that he's came back to Scottish football. It must be just, I mean, how did... I know that Lenny's came out and said the club have got ambitions and the guy's throwing money about like nobody's business, but I mean, he's obviously made his money, Wanyama, and I think Lenny must have just phoned them up and said, Vic, what are you doing? Anyway, Kaiser's in the house. Jinky, any of the Lisbon Lions. Tell me who you would like to see back at Celtic in any capacity. They have to be a living player. There's no use talking about Jinky and he's not with us anymore, God rest his soul. But it has to be someone that's alive and kicking. So for me, I would like to see Paul Lambert back as number 2. I would like to see Paul Lambert, the way that Murdo McLeod came in and was number 2 to Wim Janssen. I'd like to see Paul Lambert back at Celtic and be number 2. Neil Lennon back to Celtic after his interim post with development. Oh, you've got it, Paul, haven't you? This is your dream come true, isn't it? This is your dream come true. Larsson, of course, but what capacity would Larsson... You've got to put it in context. Don't just throw out players there. You've got to put it in the context that you want to see the player back. For me, I'd like to see Paul Lambert. I'd like to see Paul Lambert back as a number 2 at Celtic, because I think that he has lots to give. And he's a fantastic footballing brain, and I think having Paul Lambert, Champions League winner, back at Celtic, I'd take anybody replacing Kennedy's number 2. So give me the name of your player, give me the name of the living player, and give me the context that you would like the player. Henrik as striking coach. Bobo Baldi. Larsson anywhere. Just get Larsson back. Evening to you, Gemma. The question is, since Victor Wanyama has come back into Scottish football, playing for Dunfermline until the end of the season, signing with Lennon, and their first game is against Scott Brown's team. The question is who would you like to see back at Celtic? mind, and you have to put it in context. It has to be a living player, and it has to be, you have to put it in the context that they're back at the club. Mine's is Paul Lambert. I'd like to see Paul Lambert back as number 2, because I think he would be a fantastic number 2 at Celtic. I think he'd be a fantastic coach for the midfielders, and the fact that he's won the Champions League, he's a Champions League winner. There's a lot to be said for that. He went away to Germany when no one fancied him in Scotland. He won the Champions League and then he came to Celtic. So you've got to put it in coaching. You've got to put it in the I'm just reading something. Larson to show either how to stick the ball in the net. Tommy, he scored for Ireland. Lubo in a coaching role. That'd be an interesting one. Lubo in a coaching role. That's right up for that. The holy goalie is a goalkeeping coach. Do we need a goalkeeping coach? We've got a really good one. I'd like to see Lubo back as attacking coach. Whenever he replaced Harry Kewell, and experience at the top end of the game. That's true, Big Rabinus. That's true. KT, he's coming back. There's another one. Paul's on. He's on form tonight, isn't he? Paul's on form tonight. Brownie all day long. Is that a chocolate brownie? The way you spelt it? But I know what you mean, Brownie. Brownie. Martin O'Neill was director of football. And Nakam, by the way, Kaiser. That's a shout. Martin O'Neill was director of football and Nakamura as head of Asian scouting. I don my hat to you, Kaiser. That's a cracking one. Have Martin O'Neill back as director of football, Paul Lambert as number 2, Nakamura head of Asian scouting. Who else could we get back? Let's see how long we can get this one going. That was a good one, Kaiser. That was a good one. Martin O'Neill is director of football. Roy Aitken, Big Des, Roy Aitken's back at Celtic. He's back at Celtic. He is one of the Celtic... he does a lot of things for the Celtic charity fund and stuff. But he's back at Celtic. So he can be seen in and around Celtic Park in the main stand on match days. So there you go. Big Roy Aitken is back. He's been back for a few years as well. I remember getting my picture taken with him outside the main stand. Must have been about 2019. And the reason I got my picture taken, I was like, here's a picture now, and here's a picture when I was a kid with Roy Aitken at Butlands. He was my dad's mate. Currently listening to Baz with us. Hey, that's good. Peter Grant, is he not on Peter Grant? Is he not on Celtic TV? Is Peter Grant not on Celtic television? I think Peter Grant might already be back. Jim Craig is head of intelligence. Morten Vikhorst. Oh, that's a good one. Morten Vikhorst. I wonder what he's doing with himself these days. Let's figure out. What's Morten Vikhorst up to these days? Let's ask our friend Google. Oh, he's not keeping too well. Big Morten Vikhorst. There we go. Anyway, Morten Vikhorst, that's a good shout. Damien Duff as coach. I don't think you'd see Damien Duff back at Celtic, but he's managing in Ireland now, isn't he? As winger coach. I think Damien Duff was in Ireland, isn't he? Vikhorst was Danish assistant. Yeah, he was that. He was that. He is actually. He still is. Harry Kewell, Baz for left back. The only left back I'd be was back in the changing room and tell to sit up in the stand and shut the fuck up. In fact, they would ban me for the main stand and they would say, "Get back over to 111 where you belong, you heathen." I remember when I got my tickets in Club Celtic Lounge, a few of the stewards that used to steward down at 111 got moved up. They got a promotion, and they were moved into the Celtic club lounge. And then they see that, and then I went in, and they went, "Fuck me, they're letting anyone in here these days, aren't they?" All about but good banter. Joseph says Fergus to unveil the statue for the gratitude for services rendered in our greatest hour of need. And Fergus will always. I think there should. I don't know if it should be a statue. I think maybe the main stand. I think we should call the main stand the Fergus McCann stand. That's the biggest tribute. Jack says I should be head of media. Jesus, could you imagine it? I would just tell you everything. That's fucking no secrets. Tell them everything. I'd be live and say the media would be fantastic if I was in charge. I would have live media every day for Celtic Park. I'd have live media for Lennox Town every morning, live, fuck it, uncut and live. No editing, just go live from Celtic Park, live for Lennox Town, and do background stories and do tell you. There's so much that Celtic media could do, so much, that they could do, and not just through their social media channels. I mean, if they want to put it all through Celtic TV, they could do that. There's so much content that they could put out, and it would make for such good viewing, and I think it would give people a little more insight into the running of the club, the day-to-day business of the club, what goes on back in the background, interviews with certain personnel within the club. There's so much content that Celtic Television could put out there that could drag people away from social media, and they could put it through their own channel. But they don't do it. They don't do it. I tell you, I'd love to get my hands on that job, but then I wouldn't, because I'd have to come back home to Scotland. Oh, fuck. Big up Baz, 21,400 subscribers. Dava, I'll tell you the exact amount it is. It's 21,455. Anyone back that's able to tell Police Scotland to get the fuck? I'd probably get lifted going into the stadium. They'd be like, "No, you're not getting in." Great shout. We need the ground after Fergus McCann. I think the main stand. Lubo, master of trickery, for example, how to kill a 30-yard pass with your ass. Bobo to show players how to boot players at the park and get away with it. Good shout, Tommy, because Useful Harm to show Trusty and CCV how to head a ball. There's a good one. I think the fact that John Kennedy was a defender, he doesn't seem to be doing, but I don't think he does the coaching for the defending. He just does the overall coaching stuff. Interesting. Let me just say that. I'll click on home. 2 seconds. Shut that down. So anyway, Victor Wanyama back. Neil Lennon signed for them until the end of the season. So the question is, who would you like back at Celtic? Paul Baird says anyone back able to tell the police to do one. Great shout. Name part of the ground after Fergus McCann. I said they should name the main stand after Fergus McCann, just to give him his rightful place in the history of Celtic, and the new stadium as well. I think if we were to redevelop the main stand, and make it the same size, the only thing that with redeveloping the main stand is you increase the height of the roof, which then means that the grass doesn't get as much sun during the summer when it needs it. Get Big Sutton back. What would Sutton come back into football? He's got a cushy gig with TV and everything. He's probably better paid on the television than he would be at Celtic. But get Chris Sutton back. Our defence isn't aggressive enough. Yes, it isn't that. It's not aggressive enough. I think that our defenders need to be more clever in streetwise, I would say streetwise, how to nudge players and get away with it. And Alan Thompson is set play coach. Alan Thompson is a fantastic guy, and I've met him quite a few times. But would he go back into football? I'm not sure if Tomo would go back into football, actually. Don't know if he would go back into football. But you never know. Never say never. Sutton is public relations. Nah. Big Sutton is public relations. That would be... Nah, you'd be better getting Gordon Strachan back for that. I'd get Gordon Strachan back for public relations, no Sutton, because Gordon Strachan would be like, go and just fuck off. Gordon Strachan would just fucking, he'd be like, what? He was brilliant with press conferences. Gordon Strachan took no piss whatsoever, and he told the press as much. Paul says, I'd be surprised if we don't have a stamp named after Fergus McCann. What's my thoughts? I said that we should have the main stand, Paul. I said we should have the main stand named after Fergus McCann. I think we should redevelop it. And you know that can't happen. He's down there with Thatcher, isn't he? Anyway, how about Paul McStay? Paul McStay would be a good one to get back, but I think Paul Lambert as number 2 would be better if you're going to get a midfielder back like that. I think that Paul Lambert, having won the Champions League, could give that little bit. Paul McStay's never had anything to do with football since he left Celtic, and he's happy down in Australia. It's where Paul Lambert, you could probably get him back as number 2. I'd like to see that. Charlie Nicholas to show Brendan Rodgers how he really talk piss. Now, it's be nice to Brendan Rodgers night tonight. Charlie like to show Brendan Rodgers how to really talk piss. Says Squares. The Square Sausage Fans View. See, what a channel name. One Square Sausage Fans View self-titled. Oh dear God! Stuart Ramsey says, "Never mind our defence. Biggest, they aren't aggressive enough. Neither is our midfield. Yeah, they're not. So who would you like to get back? We Jackie Mack, agent to coaching. Agent to coaching. He's done the whole coaching thing before. You'll probably find that he's making more money as an agent than he would as a coach. Would you get Jackie Mack back as a coach? I wonder if he'd be up to go back in it. I need to ask his old man the next time I see him. His old man stays out here. Gordon Strachan to do the press conference just for the banter. Yep, Paul, I said that one as well. If I would get Gordon Strachan to do the press conferences every week. Just, I'd get Martin O'Neill back. I mean, that mob across the city seem to be going down the road to getting a load of old players back, right? Now that Victor Wanyama's back in Scottish football, Neil Lennon's back in at Dunfermline until the end of the season. I think get Martin O'Neill in as director of football. Get Gordon Strachan in as our press liaison officer, just to do the press conferences. Right, you shut up. Fucking shut up. Fuck off. John Hartson, the striking coach. Oh, John Hartson. What about Harold Brattbach back? Harold Brattbach, who scored the goal that won us the league. To stop the 10. Oh, who would you have back first? Harold Brattbach or John Hartson? There's a poll for you. There's a poll. If you had 2 players, you only had 1 or 2 players that you could get back. One is John Hartson, and one is Brattbach. Which one would you get back? There we go. There's the poll. There's the poll. Bring back stay press waffles and Y cardigans. Oh, Jesus. Bobo's head of security. Yep. Get all the coppers out and bring in Bobo as head of security. Penny public relations. John Hartson by a mile. John Hartson by a mile. Pick a player to come back. John Hartson or Harold Bratback. Ah, poor Bratback. He was a fantastic player. He was intelligent. He was really intelligent, by the way. Scary intelligent guy. Far too intelligent to be a footballer. Ian Wright, Baz. Oh. Ian Wright. Big John all day long, says Paul Baird. Aldi Elliott. Paul Elliott, Jesus. Press the wrong one, there's no undo, says Bobsky. Big Bad John, no contest. Hearts all day long. You're not showing your age. I'd added Mo Johnson, Kenny Miller, Charlie Nicholas, just to clean the toilets and pick up the garbage. Oh my God. I'd love to have Bobo and Jackie McNamara back. Lenny is public relations. Bratback was unlucky. Nah, he was. He won us the league. Oh, John. Drop the mic. John, I'm not even going to say that one on live on air. John. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. What about Stubbs? Alan Stubbs, who's had a fair stint at management. Would you have Stubbs back? Is he Stubbs no more a Hibby now than he is a Celtic, known as a Celtic man? He's no more been as a Hibby because the time that he managed there. Bigger build for Hartson, but Bratback was really good. Yep. The night we stopped the 10 Bells Hill, it's like the Mardi Gras. It was. Bratback should have worn specs when playing. Craig Burley as the dentist. Oh, come on. For those that don't know, Burley had no front teeth. And when he done interviews after the game, it was weird. You know, it's this old man talking. Big Bad John, Kenny Miller would only drink water out the toilets. Yep, he would that. The players Brendan Rodgers had first time round compared to this dross, Maida excluded. Dumbelly, Rogic, Edward, Griffiths, compared to the dross we have now. Yeah. Different times, isn't it? Different times. Different times. Tam Rogic. I don't know why Celtic let him go. His career just pittered out after he left Celtic. It's a shame. He could have still done stuff. Burley gives Stuart, I'm not finishing that one. Nearly caught me out there. Bratback is all over the place. Boris to throw holy water over Cherny. Oh, jeez. We're on 67 votes. I'm going to end that poll right on 67. A young Lubo. Could you imagine if we'd got Lubo 5 years earlier than what we did? It'd have been some player. Some player. Let me just see. You can tell it's a really, really bad, slow news week. I hate this time of the season. I bet it's no holy. Paul says Borage to throw some holy water over some. Claire Sweeney, Coronation Street. His mommy had Burley. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, I'm not staying on late tonight. I'm only doing a quick half-hour one. We've been on for 25 minutes so far, due to the fact that there is like no chat going on, and it's I'm completely knackered. If we got him younger, he would have been sold. We wouldn't have had him long, says Susie. Yeah. How's Henke's son doing, Jordan? Any good? He's a bang average player, isn't he? Bang average player. No, not even half the capability of his dad. Not even half. That always happens when you've got to live up to. If your dad's as good as what Henrik Larsson was, you've just got to play your own game. You're never going to be. It's very difficult for you to be better than what he was. You've got to be an exceptional player, and I think that he's never managed it. Stubbs gave me the greatest football day. Maka is the party organizer. When it comes to transfers, I'm not even thinking about transfers yet, because it's still too much of the season to go. And there's a lot of names getting thrown about just now. It's that time of the season. There's nothing. The only one that of any concrete that I would say could come to Celtic is Lennon Miller. The rest of them, it's far too. It's not even. It's nowhere near time to talk about transfers yet. So much could happen between now and the end of the season. So much could happen. We still need to wait. We need to wait and see what's going to happen with the goalkeeping situation. The realisation of how good Luba was tells us that there's gems out there. Van Hooijdonk. Oh, Pierre, there's only one Pierre. Remember the whole stadium singing that. It was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, excuse me, I am absolutely knackered tonight, so I'm going to cut this one short. We're on 27 minutes, so that's not too bad. And it was just, who would you like to see back at Celtic, since Victor Wanyama has joined Neil Lennon in Dunfermline until the end of the season? It's a funny old world. It is a funny old world. And Kyogo, let me just read this. Yeah, Kyogo's basically said he's not coming. He's not going back to Scotland. So Kyogo's basically shut off any talk of him coming back to Scotland. Not a chance. And you can tell it's a really slow night when they're talking about Alex Bailly and stuff. Anyway, night Lorna, good night everyone, good night Mick McCarthy, cheers Baz, cheers Strips, says Stuart Ramsey, cheers Paul Bears. Transfer talk at the minute is just clickbait. Yep, Paul, it's just clickbait. There's nothing, I wouldn't even, there's nothing gets talked about. Nothing transfer-wise gets spoke about at this time of the season. And especially when we've still got the league and the cup to play for. It's only once you get maybe the week after. This time of the season, players are focused on the teams they're at. Managers are focused on... The manager will be thinking about, yes, his long-term plans, and he'll have first prospects, the players that he wants, he'll have them marked off. But when it comes to it, it's far too early to talk about it. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic